So MIPCOM 2023, day one. I'm here with Deadline's Jesse Whittock. Jesse, how are you?
I'm all right, Justin. How's it going?
Really well, thank you. Great to see you. So tell us what the key stories are coming out of the Croisette today.
Well, on the first day of the market, there tends to be a lot of news that's released, and probably the biggest stories so far have come out of ITV and Warner Brothers Discovery. ITV launched a new production company along with Cattleya, which is an Italian company that they back behind dramas like Gomorrah. So they've launched a new company called Daedalus. Basically to do similar sorts of things, but to kind of really push into the international drama space and kind of really shore up what they're trying to do. And Warner Brothers Discovery then used their keynote speech today, it was Gerhard Zeiler, their international boss, to announce that they're going to launch their Max streaming service in France, and it will then be launched in various other parts of Europe. And the Max service will replace the HBO Max in various other territories, such as the Netherlands, I believe. And the interesting thing, sort of looking forwards, is what happens to Max in the UK. Currently, HBO Warner Brothers content goes out through Sky, and sort of looking forward, it'll be really interesting to see if and how Max becomes a UK service, whether that's distributed through Sky, that's something we've heard about a couple of times, or whether they take that deal away and go solo. The current deal ends in around 2025. There's been talk over the years, like I say, about the Max service sort of taking that content and then bringing all of that stuff in-house. Of course, we know that streaming services are being more flexible, happier to do deals and licensing deals than they were a few years ago when they were warehousing all of their stuff. And that was when the talk around the Sky deal was at its kind of buzziest and the murkiest, I guess. Now they might do another licensing deal, but we don't know. That will come up, but it's certainly going to be a talking point going forwards.
And how many other stories do you get in your inbox, Jesse, on day one of a market like MIPCOM 2023?
So I say to PRs, try not to hit me up with too many emails that morning because we cannot cover them. We're out here getting the stories, covering the keynotes. We only have a certain number of fingers to type stories out with. You're talking dozens and dozens of press releases, and I'm apologising to anyone who I haven't been able to cover, but we do what we do.
And it's really your busiest day of the year, I guess.
Oh, it's up there, yeah, for sure. Everything sort of happens on day one of MIPCOM. Like you say, lots of deals being signed off. I was speaking to a PR who explained to me that, they had their press release signed off at 11:59 last night, and so it had to come out this morning. So I completely understand that it's an extremely busy time. You've got the entire industry here, so there's going to be a lot of news to go with that.
And we're seeing Deadline being handed out right across the Croisette. Give us some idea of the key features you'll find in Deadline.
This year we've got a really nice magazine, big cover story on Nicholas Winding Refn, the director of Drive. He is doing a series with BBC and ZDF. It's a remake of The Famous Five. We've got features on African streaming, so if you want to know about that market, which is fascinating, and I don't know if we can call Africa a market, but what we're talking about, how things are developing in the key territories there, Nigeria, South Africa, places like that.
So you've also been doing a feature on European commercial broadcasters as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting part of the industry that in some ways kind of feels like it doesn't get a lot of discussion, a lot of love. There's been a lot of talk about international streamers, Netflix's, Amazon's, and I did a sort of bit of a deep dive into companies like ProSieben, ITV, RTL, Media for Europe, just looking at their strategies and how they're looking to kind of future-proof themselves, I guess. The criticism for them has been over the years that they've spent lots of money and time and effort looking after their linear audiences, which are huge and profitable, and it's understandable, but the flip side to that being that some people believe they've sort of underinvested in streaming services. Now there's been a big change in the last 12 months really, maybe a bit longer than that. ITVX launched, and we're suddenly seeing these guys really focusing on launching stuff on streaming, premium windows, free windows, pay windows, giving people lots of different options, launching content. And we're seeing that the advertising revenues are going up, the digital advertising revenues. We're seeing the response is good from the audiences, the numbers are going up, all the metrics are going up. And really the question now is, did they wait too long to do this? And that's kind of what I was investigating in that feature.
All right, and then for the rest of the market, what are you most looking forward to? Is there one particular keynote that everybody's going to be focused on, or a panel session that you're particularly looking forward to?
Well, I think everyone's got quite excited by Eva Longoria's keynote, which is going to happen in about 45 minutes, I believe. And she's going to be talking about various things alongside Chris Abrego. They've had a long-standing relationship, those two. They're going to be talking about everything from sort of representations of Latinos in TV to, just the state of the industry. So that'll be a good one, and Eva's great, and it'll be really interesting to see what she says.
And we also have Bog Backish coming up as well.
And obviously it's been a big year for Paramount. They've lots and lots of launches over the last 12 months of their Paramount Plus service. They've been dealing with the same issues that all of the streamers have, thinking about where they invest, how much they invest, what countries they need to invest in, where they need to be, where they don't need to be. They've been dealing with the strikes, so I'm sure he'll say something about that. And obviously the actors' strike is still continuing, so it'll be interesting to see what Bob has to say about that particular issue, and I do hope he is questioned about that on stage.
All right, well, we'll be reading about all those and more, I'm sure, on Deadline over the next few days. Jesse Whittock, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, mate. Nice one, Justin.